Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl Audrey Codner from GED Math Tutoring. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. I know I was away from you for quite too long, but try to put a little couple posts out there here and there. If you are new and you just came across my channel, you're probably like, hey, what's this all about? Well, what I do is I go over a lot of the basic math concepts that you usually see in the GED, the ASVAB, the ACCUPLACER, the TEAS test, the HESI test, any of the algebra components, some a little bit of ACT, and sometimes SAT. So what I do is I just basically present a nice little math problem for you, and you just go ahead and try to solve it to the best of your ability. So if, for example, we have number 17, Christina's salary of $320 per week is increased to $360 per week. So what percentage pay raise did she receive? Was it A, 12 and 5/10%? C, 9 and 2/10%? Or D, 8 and 4/10%? So if you think you know what the answer is, all you have to do is just go ahead and put the answer choice A, B, C, or D inside the choice. And if you're not sure what it is, go ahead and put a question mark. So hello, Angela. How are you? Welcome on in, everyone. I got my smiley face. Thank you so much for coming back. I know it has been a minute. Okay, it's been really busy with people with their midterms. I told you that was going to happen as soon as we came back from the new year. So, okay, my number 3 is saying 8.4. Okay, you're thinking it's D with the 8.4%. All righty. Okay, so if you're not sure, if you're just coming in, you're like, oh, what are we doing? Well, all we're doing is trying to solve this equation right here, or basically this problem. So you have Christina's salary of $320 per week is increased to $360. What percentage pay raise did she receive? Is the answer A, B, C, or D? Okay, Bradley's telling me A at 12.5. Hello, Michael is saying A. Okay, ND is saying A. Kix is saying A. Thank you so much. Follow Kelly. Okay, Gay Boy. All right, interesting. Well, you got an A right there. Ooh, what is this? I think it's Brenda is saying A. Looking at handwriting. Okay, Tanya 12.5. Flex with an A. El Taquito is saying A. Hawk is saying A. Moonlight and Night, new and old, not sure, over 100. Ooh, well, give it a try. Go ahead, Moonlight. Okay, Rocks, how are you with the 12.5? Makar is saying how. Okay, you know I'm going to show you how. You know the rule. Okay, Owner Billy saying 12.5. Daniel with an A. Mel with an A. People are saying anything other than A. Okay, well, don't really say sad because, everyone has different ways. Hello, Audrey. What's going on, namesake? With the A, Chris is saying A with the 12.5. Is that Chrissy saying 40 and Chris saying it's A? All right, okay. So Kara with A, Mark with the A. All right. So we are looking at, if we take a look at these things, we're looking at not the percent decrease, we're looking at a percent increase. So like someone mentioned here, if we're looking at the increase, we're basically looking at our difference. So we're taking that new price minus the old, okay, doing the absolute values just in case we have to do that, and divide by your old, multiply by 100 because we're talking about the percentage. So if we take a look at this, we have our new price, which is our 360, minus the old, which was the 320. Okay, so we definitely have a difference of $40 there, and it's going to be over our old price, which was 320. And eventually what we're going to do is multiply that by 100 so we can change it to a percentage. So now we have our 40 with our 320 And since both are ending with zeros, we can cancel those out. So it makes our numbers a lot smaller. So we actually have 4 over 32. So if we reduce it, what 4 and 32 both have in common is 4. So that means 4 divided by 4 gives me 1. And 32 divided by 4 gives me 8. And we're going to take that 1/8 and multiply by 100. So when we do that, we're basically got 100 over 8. So when we do our division, here's our 100, here's our 8. So how many 8s can go into 1? None. How many 8s can go into 10? That's 1. So then 10 minus 8, that gives us 2. Then we bring down the 0. So how many 8s can go into 20? That would be 2. So now we're going to have a remainder of 4. But if we put our decimal place, and once we get to here, we can immediately say, oh, it's going to be A. But if you want to finish out, we take another 0, add that to the 4 to make it into a 40. So how many 8s can go into 40? That will be 5. All right. So then we'll already, and this is already in the percentage because remember, we multiplied by that 100 because the 100, we're using it for representing our percent sign. So it's going to be 12.5%. All right. All right. So are we seeing our why and our how now? Okay. Are we seeing our why and our how now? All right. Okay, so let's take a gander at the next one. Let me zoom in for you. All right, so Bailey loaned Robin $1,500 at a simple annual interest rate of 7%. If she repays the loan after 2 years, how much will she have to pay? Is it A, $1,810? Is it B, $1,710? Is it C, $1,765? Or D, $1,832? So Moo, can I explain why I did 360 over 320? Because you are taking your increase. You're looking at the percent increase. So you had to take the difference of how much the payment was increased and divide it by your old. Okay? So if you need the formula again, here it is. We have our N minus the old. We take the absolute values just in case there is a negative, okay? So your numerator should always be positive, and divided by your old, okay? And the reason why we multiply by 100% is because we're looking at the percent increase or percent decrease. But in that case, it was the percent increase, okay? All right, so we got a whole bunch of B's with my 1710s. Okay, we're looking at that simple interest. You're so welcome, Moo, not a problem. Okay, so we're looking at that simple interest. We got our G-gang, or G-gange, sorry. Okay, with our 1400s and the 1500. We got a whole bunch of B's. Awesome. All right, so because they said here, simple annual interest, okay? That means we're looking for our simple interest. So the formula for simple interest has nothing to do with your exponents, okay? So simple interest is basically your I equals P times R times T. So your P is your principal, what you started off with, okay? How much was the amount before you did anything? Okay, your I is basically the interest you're trying to figure out. Interest in a good way, Okay, so then you have your R, which is your rate. You always want to have your rate as a percent, and your T is your time, and that is going to be your time in years. So if they ever give you a problem that says, oh, this is going to happen in 6 months, that means in your equation for your T, you're going to replace it with 0.5. That is half of a year. Okay, so you remember your time is always going to be based in years. So what would we start off with? So our principal, we start off with the 1500. Okay, so that's what we started off. Our rate, they told us, is 7%. So I need to change that to a true decimal. So that means that decimal place, if I'm starting here at the 7, I'm moving it over 1, 2 to the left, and there's going to be a decimal point in that spot, and put that 0 as a filler. Okay, so 7% as a decimal is not 0.7. That is 7D or 7T, sorry. Sometimes the accent comes out. All right, and our time has to be in years, in which they want 2 years. All right, so again, we can multiply. Since we're multiplying all 3, it doesn't matter which 3 or which 2 you combine. You can combine the 1500 with the 2, all right, and then multiply by the 0.07, or we can multiply the 2 and the 0.07. Whichever you want, that's what happens. So I will kind of like to do it this way. So with the 1500 times 2, that gives me my 3000. And now that 3,000, I need to multiply by 0.7. And since I know I have my 7 and 3, that gives me my 21. And then I'm going to be adding 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Or 1, 2, 3 zeros. Now, I need to move this over 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So I just need it over 2 times. Why am I putting an extra 0? That's weird. So I needed 1, 2 decimal places. Because this has 2 decimal places, this doesn't have any. So I'm going to have 210. So now this, what we calculated, is the interest. That's not our answer. Okay? It's asking, how much will she have to pay? Okay, we know the interest, but we have to add our 1500 with the interest that we found. So we started off with the 1500. We figured out what the interest was, 210. So that's how you get your 1710, which is answer choice B. Shrink that down a little bit. Okay, which is answer choice B. Okay, yep, you can ask Google, but here's my thing. When you take these tests, you can't get on the internet. I know you're just trying to be funny, but that's all right. We like humor around here. But the key thing is when they say simple interest, simple annual interest, just simple interest, this is basically the formula that you are going to use. So in order to find your interest, think of your PRT, your principal times your rate as a decimal times your time in years. All right. Hey, thanks on that. Okay. So let's take a gander. So right now, I want to kind of take a look at this next one. And then we're going to take a flashcard break. All right. 2 years. Okay. Yep, 2 years. All right. So let me make this a little bit bigger. So here we go. What is the best probability that 2 people will have the same birthday? Okay, disregard leap years. I know. We're not doing that leap year stuff, okay? So assume that each year has 365 days long. So what is the best probability that two people will have the same birthday? Is it A, 1400%, B, 2700%, C, 3900%, or D, 0%? Okay. So we have a D, we have a 0. So really, stop and think. You mean to tell me that for some people that are thinking of D's, you mean to tell me that no one has the same birthday? Like everyone in this planet has their own birthday. It's not being shared by anyone. People weren't actually born on the same day. Now, think about it. Nope, don't need the sample size. We're good. You're doing too much. You're overthinking it. Overthinking it. Okay. I know a lot of you guys want to be like, this is my birthday month. You weren't born every day of the month. Stop being selfish. Enjoy your moment. You get a whole day. All right. Okay, so I got 1 and 365s. So we got some B's. You're just guessing. Not a problem. 1%. Okay, no people who share my birthday. Same here, right? Okay, I'm all right. Nah, I'm not saying people are dumb. That's weird. I don't have to say that. But sometimes you just have to stop and think, because that's the one thing about a lot of these tests. Just use common sense sometimes, okay? That's how we can do the P-O-E, process of elimination. Okay, so we definitely know that D is out. So I'm seeing a lot of B's, okay? I'm seeing a couple of C's, not too many A's, okay? So seeing that's kind of good that we're narrowing it down to B's and C's. So now, let's think about it. When it comes to the probability, hey Yvette, it comes down to what's the probability of one person, okay? So 1 out of 365 days. Probability, one person had a birthday. Now, the probability that two people having the same birthday, it is the same as that 1 out of 365. Okay, it's the same out of that. So we're basically looking at it, if I may, we're trying to figure out if we're looking at our probability, and if we do this, we're doing it not by adding, we're doing it by multiplication. Okay, we can kind of do it by multiplication. So if we really think about it, they want to know, since everything is in here is based off of percents, when they're basing it on percents, let me think for a second. So I know 100 is going to be involved, but we're saying 365. And we want to know the best percentages. Okay? I know. I'm thinking. Because that would be way too much. So the probability of one person having a birthday would be 365. So if I said 1 out of 365 and I multiply that by 100 because I want to handle the percent, I could say 100 out of the 365. I like this one better. So if I want to do 100 divided by 365, that would be a lot better. Scratch that. So if I do my 100, the 100's handling my percent, because first we had 1 out of 365. But if I want to do it with the percent, I got my 365. So how many 365s can go into 100? That would be 0. But how many 365s can go into 1,000? Well, I know doing 365 by 3 will be too much, because I know how to carry over. So it has to be a 2. So this will give me my 0. Carry over 12, that'll be 13. Carry over 6, and that'll be 7. So now here's my 0. This will be a 7. That'll be a 9. That'll be a 2. But since I got my 0.2, it has to be B. It has to be B. I could probably bring down this 0 that's here. And then I have to think. 365. And since they're giving me a 7, let's see if that 7 will work. Because we know it's not going to be exact. This is probably going to be more. Carry the 3. 42, so that's 45. So that's 21, that's 25. Yep, that works. Okay, so since this will work, I know it's never going to be exact. So since we're looking at the best probability that 2 people will have the same birthday, so if it's going to be the same birthday, that makes sense. It's going to be 1 out of 365. So since we want to get the percentage, because all of my answers are in percent, I had to multiply by 100. So that's where my 100 over 365 came from. And that's how I started doing the long division. Now, you're probably saying, well, Audrey, why don't you just put it in the calculator? Because when you take the GED test, the ASVAB, the ACCUPLACER, you cannot use a calculator. So you really have to get home with your long division, multiplication, your simple addition and subtraction. So this is the reason why we had to do the division here. Okay. All right. Okay. So that will work. Okay. All right. So let's get with this last one. So there are 8 pints in a gallon. A half a pint of milk is what part of a gallon? No, even though they're talking about 2 people, well, that's almost caught me. That's why I had to stop. They had the same birthday. So they're not talking about the whole thing with 2 people. They want to talk about who's going to have that same birthday. That's why we only did it once. That was the 1 out of 365. And then since everything was a percent, we had to multiply by 100 because of that percentage. And that's what caused us to do the long division here to figure out what that percentage is going to be. So once I saw that 0.2, I knew that my answer choice was going to be B. But I kept going just to see if a 7 will work, and it did. Okay. All right. Probability does not necessarily mean percentage, but the answer choices were percents. That's why. Right, and the 2 people did confuse me as well. So that's why I stopped and I made the adjustment, right? All right, so taking a look. So what we got? So we have some C's with the 1/16. We have C's with 1/16. We're hurting with a C. Okay. Nanaish, how are you with the C? No, with the C with the 1/16. Probably for the few. Hey, Big G Money, how are you? Okay, Michael with a C. Let's say Lee with a C with the 1/16. Your dopeness is with 1/16. All right. Okay. All right. How to sign up. Balance, checks roll. All right. Okay. Just add your fractions. Yeah. All right. So. Okay. Right. So that's exactly what it is. So if you're looking at, you have your, usually people know it as like 4 quarts will give you a gallon. Then when you split two pints equals a quart. So basically you have your 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you split all those. Then you split them. So you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll give you 8. Half of your 8s. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So part of a gallon. So you had your 8 pints. Okay. And they said half a pint is how many gallons? Just take your 1 out of 16ths. Okay. Yep. That's it. So that was nice and easy. Okay. My 8 pints. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pints. Okay. I don't know how legal everybody is here. So if you're going to take a half, so you're going to cut them in half. So now you got 2 there. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay. All right. All right, so we're good. Yep, no problem. That's what the boxes were representing, just my 8 pints. And then I was just like dividing them in half because you're doing halves. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right, so flashcard time. Ready? What do we have? I'm going to start out relatively slow. Relatively. So we've done some order of operations before. So let's see if we can get some solving going on, because we haven't done that much solving in a while. Okay. And I'm going to lower that down. So even if you're doing your algebraic reasoning, which is what we just did, especially with your ASVAB and your T-test. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay. That's okay. Don't even worry about them. Oh, thank you, mister. I appreciate that. So, what do we have here? Okay, what do we have here? Negative 4x plus 4 is equal to 3 times 2 minus x. What is x? What is x? Okay, so user over here is saying 5. Okay, I'm seeing 2. I'm seeing a negative 10. Okay, hello, Kelsey. How are you? Hello, love and hugs. How are you? Okay, Ricky Brown with a negative 10. Fat with a negative 10. Michael with a negative 10. I've got a positive 10. Chicken Beans with a 5. See, I love seeing the answers that I'm getting. I hate to say it this way, but this is the reason why I put together a lot of these cards. This is the main reason, because I'm seeing quite a bit of different answers here. Okay, seeing a 3, seeing a 2, a negative 2, a negative 10, a 10, a 5. All right, so let's take a look of this. So we have our negative 4x minus 4 equals my 3 times 2 minus x. So the first thing that I should do, if I don't mind, is I'm going to do the distributive property. Okay, so do not forget the whole please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And this is the part that everyone misses, from left to right. Okay, so even though we are solving this equation, okay, I'm thinking of my equal sign as a barrier. So now I'm going to focus, let's focus on the right-hand side. So let me cover up the left-hand side real quick. So now we have 3 times 2, so that will give me 6. And 3 times a negative x, positive times a negative will give me a negative, and 3 times x gives me 3x. So now bring down my equal sign and bring down my negative 4x minus 4. So now from here, we could go ahead and put our x's on one side. It doesn't matter which side, as long as it's on one side of the equal sign. So I know a lot of people want to keep their x's on the left-hand side. Not a problem. So that means this minus 3x, I need to change it to a plus 3x. I need to do the inverse. So whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I'm going to do to the other. So now I'm basically moving that 3x over to the same side, the left-hand side. So negative 3 and a positive 3 will cancel out. But what remains is this 6. So now bring down my minus 4. And now I have to combine. So negative 4 plus 3. If you owe me $4 and you paid me 3, that means you owe me $1. So now I want to get my x by itself. So I need to move this minus 4 over to the other side of the equal sign. So in order for me to do it, I need to do the inverse of subtraction, which is addition. So this is the part that got a lot of people. Because you have a negative x equals 10. Okay, so we don't want to know what the negative x is. We want to know what just x is. So in order for us to do that, we need to do the inverse of negative 1 times x, which is dividing. Inverse of multiplication is division. So we're going to get rid of our negative 1s, and we're going to keep our x. And then 10 divided by negative 1 is a negative 10. Okay. All right. So if we take a look, here's a nice little quiz going right here. And our final solution is going to be a negative 10. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at another one. I always want to keep doing some things. So let's go with this one. So we have 4 times 2x minus 1 equals negative 10 times x minus 5. What do you think is my answer? Well, thank you, Em. I tried to. Okay, baby cakes, what's your question? I got you. Okay. So how do you add that to the equation? What do you mean by how do I add that to the equation? Convert the minus to a plus? Oh, so what you're doing is called doing the inverse. In order for them, this is not the answer for this one. I'm just going to leave this one up here just so for those can keep going. This is from the last one. So in order for you to even things out, okay, in order for you to work out, so you need to have in order for you to move things from one side of the equal sign to the other, you have to do the opposite of the signage that's given. The sign is always to the left of the number. So for this 6, if I look to the left, there is no sign there. That is a positive 6. So if I wanted to do anything with the 6, I would subtract the 6 if I wanted to move it from the right to the left. If I wanted to move this -4 over to the right, I have to do the opposite of the signage, that minus sign. So that means I'm going to be adding 4 to both sides. Okay? It's almost like if you're trying to lift weights and you're on the bench, you don't want to take all of your weight off of one side. That bench will flip over and you can hurt yourself. Okay, so you always want to take one from one side to balance it off to the other side. You want to keep things balanced. You're so welcome. All right. All right, so let's take a look at this one. So we have 4 times 2x minus 1. So if I take a look on just the left-hand side, I'm going to distribute that 4 to everything inside the parenthesis. So 4 times 2x, that gives us 8x. 4 times -1, that gives me -4. So now I'm bringing down my equal sign. And now I'm going to do the distributive property on the right-hand side. So -10 times x, that gives me a -10x. And -10 times a -5. Negative times negative is a positive. 10 times 5 is 50. Okay, are we good so far? Okay. All right. Now, taking a look, left or right-hand side, do I have any numbers in common for me to combine over here? So dope is everyone's saying x is 3, x is 3. Okay, we don't. If we take a look over here on the right-hand side, is there any like terms that we need to combine over here? Nope. Beautiful. So you want to add, I see a lot of people say add the 10. Okay, we're going to add the 10x to both sides. So if I add the 10x over here, that means this -10 and +10 is going to cancel out. So that means I'm saying to myself, I want just x to be on this side. So this -4, that -4 needs to go to the other side. And how do I move it? I'm going to do its inverse. I'm going to add 4. See, you can do all of this on one line. And that'll come eventually. So now, let's combine our like terms. So 8x plus 10x, that gives me 18x. And 50 plus 4 gives me 54. So now we have 18x is equal to 54. So that means we need to get x by itself. So that's when we're going to do what? Divide 18 on both sides, not the 54. Because if I try to divide the 54, is that getting our x by itself? It's not. There you go. So we're going to divide both sides by 18. And then 54 divided by 18, that will give me 3. Okay. Like it's not alive. But here's the best thing, Sally. Hold on. 1 minute. You should see my desk right now. It's crazy. But this is the best thing, Sally. I love that you want to do that, which is awesome. But here you go. Just in case, for everybody, just in case TikTok goes tits up. I don't know what's going on. But if they do, this is where you can go. And this is what you have to sign up. Okay? Just go to this channel. And it literally, there is a playlist that says TikTok Lives. All of my TikTok Lives since February 2nd. Can't believe that's coming up on a year anniversary. I don't know. I should do something. Maybe. I don't know. I know. It's right around the corner. All of my TikTok lives, including this one, give me some time to upload it, will be there. So I do a lot of the individual stuff. Like I'll just have some lives that I focus just solely on factoring or equations aligned or percentage, maybe some geometry, a little bit of trig with the SOHCAHTOA and all this stuff, the individual stuff, or it could be the things that I was just doing earlier, which I'll do like sample questions and I'll just put them onto the lives. So this is the best thing. If you ever want to do that, you can go there and you can get all the assistance that you need. Okay, well, thank you. All right, have I ever tutored in college math, like Calc 4? No, that's not me. Yeah. All right, no problem. Why wasn't it negative 10 times negative 5? It was negative 10 times negative 5. So remember, negative 10 times negative 5. A negative times a negative gives me a positive. That's where this plus sign came from. And then 10 times 5, that's where the 50 came from. Okay, so that did happen, Mad. Okay. Oh, thanks, Michael. Your new year? So am I. All right, so let's try another one. And plus, if you notice, I'm trying to incorporate some fractions. Do not leave. All of a sudden, everybody's like, oh, nope, it's all fraction. And you know the reason why I say this is because if you're thinking about doing any of those exams, there are easily going to be some fractions on there. And I want you to do well, okay? Don't be afraid of the fractions. And if you're not sure what the answer is, trust me, you don't have to put an answer down, but don't leave and just ignore it. You got to face your problems. You got to face your fears. And the reason why I know this, I had to do the same thing. I had to face my fears of fractions. I had to face my fears of word problems, because when I was younger, and even when I was trying to pass this stupid praxis, which took me 11 times. You know how many times you got to take a test? Some of you guys are like, oh, I failed the GED 3 times. Shut up. Try taking the praxis 11 times. Just so I can be a math teacher. Just so I can have that one teacher that I kept seeing and how he was treating his students, and the students hated going to his class each and every day, but they had to go because there wasn't another teacher. That was my motivation to be a teacher. Okay? You can do it. If I can overcome it, so can you. Love you. Smooches. Now, try to do the problem. Don't have to convert it into decimals. Don't need to convert it into a decimal. Think about what is the whole thing about fractions. We need to have a common blank. What is that blank? It's already programmed in your head. Trust me. Teachers, we do a very good job of brainwashing. That's why we're here. Okay? You have to have a common blank. Sham, we're going to be all right. Okay, we need to have a common denominator. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Moo Moo. Common denominator. Okay, thank you, Molly. Common denominator. Ricky, there you go. Common denominator. Okay, math mare here. Okay, Valentino, I appreciate it. Common denominator. There we go. All right, so let's take it step by step. So we have x, 2/3 x over here, and we have 1/3 x over here. So let's move this 1/3 x over to the left-hand side, okay? So we have 2/3 minus 1/3. And then we still have our plus 5, right? And whatever we do on one side, we do to the other side. We want to even things out. It's almost just like lifting. You don't want to just lift with your right arm. And your left arm looks like you've been through some troubling times. Okay, got to even it out. So they have a common denominator, right? Which is 3. So all we have to do is subtract the numerators. So what's 2 minus 1? Right? There we go. There we go. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Serena. Thank you. I see you. All right. So now we took care of this big ugly giant of a fraction. We put all our x's on one side. That means this plus 5 needs to go because we need our x's to be by itself. Let me raise this up. So that means we got to take the inverse of this 5. So I need to subtract 5. Right? Bring down my equal sign. So now what's 4 minus 5? All right, Valentino. There we go. All right. So we got a -1, right? Okay. Stick with me, people. It's all right. So if you owe me $5 and you paid me 4, that means you owe me $1. So now we have 1/3 x is equal to -1. So we need to figure out what is that mystery number. Now here's the thing, and this is what kind of woke me up from my little coma called math fear. Fractions is nothing but division. What's the inverse of division? Okay, thank you, Valentino. There we go. 1/3 wasn't the common denominator. Got this. The common denominator was a 3. They both have a 3. So you don't do anything with the 3. You just bring it on down. But all the action is happening in that numerator. Okay? And if I may break it down to, we're going to try to bring a circle into it. All right, not too bad. So if we have 1, 2, 3 spots, okay, and then we have 2, and then we took away, like say, okay, you have 3 spots. Then you have 2 out of the 3. That means there was 1 left, okay? So if you have, say this is out of play, that was like a piece of pie. All right, I devoured that. I was hungry, okay? So now we got 2 out of the 3 pieces of pies. But if I'm going to take 1 out of the 2 pies, how many pieces are left? 1 out of the 3. That's where 1/3 has come in, okay? All right. So now we need to do the inverse of division, which is multiplying. And we're going to multiply both sides, because remember, we've got to even things out, both sides by what our denominator is, which is 3. The reason why, because if I multiply 3 times 1/3, that would give me 3/3. And 3/3, we can simplify that to 1. And if we say 1x, 1x is exactly the same as saying x. So this is why when a lot of people do the multiplication, they just simply, cancel out the 3's. So this 1 can come down. You can skip this little step right here, because 3 divided by 3 is going to give me my 1. So cancel those bad boys out. You got your numerator, drop it on down. And 1x is exactly the same as saying 1x, because there's physically 1x there. Equals. Now we have -1 times 3. Because remember, we had to multiply on one side. Whatever you do on one side, you do on the other. So that's why your answer is going to be -3. Okay? So for all my fraction phobia people, I know you are out there. I can sense it. Okay? Yep, I ate the whole damn thing, actually. Okay? All right? So 2/3, remember, we subtract 1/3 on both sides. So 2/3 minus 1/3, that's where the 1/3 came from. Got this. Okay. Robots. All right, cool. All right. Okay, thank you, Sally. Appreciate it. Okay, why not combine them? Because you can only combine like terms. You can only combine like terms. Oops. Thanks for the follow. 1 to 1. You both are excellent. Entire equation by 3. Okay, you can have fun with until it multiplies the equation. Yeah, you can multiply the whole thing by 3 if you want. The denominator has to be the same, Maya. The denominator has to be the same. Okay. Okay. You're lost on the 3. Which 3? Multiplying both sides by 3? You love Cat? Sorry. Yes? Okay. So, when you look at 1/3, your denominator is a 3. Okay? We need to get rid of this denominator because we need to get x by itself. So, fractions is nothing but division. So, you have to do the opposite of division, which is multiplication. So, by multiplying both sides by 3, you're canceling out these 3's. So we can get 1x or x by itself on the left-hand side. Could 2/3 have been put on both sides? Why? No. Why? Okay. Yep, only multiplying the denominator. Yes. Or you can multiply by what's called the reciprocal. You're so welcome. Okay? Because some people get a little confused when it's called the reciprocal. So another way, as someone did mention, let me get my little thing out the way, is if you notice that the denominators are 3, and this is only if you catch it. If you notice that your denominators are 3's, okay, let me take this up, you could multiply everything by 3. If you do that, these 3's will cancel out, leaving me with 2x plus 5 times 3, that'll give me 15, equals 1/3 of 3, that gives me 1x, plus 4 times 3 gives me 12. So if you want, we could subtract 1x from both sides. And by moving the x's over to the left-hand side, that means this 15 needs to move over to the right-hand side. So you could cancel these out, and you could subtract 15 on both sides. So now you have 2x minus 1x, that gives me x. Remember, x is the same as saying 1x. And then 12 minus 15, that'll give you a negative 3. Okay. All right. So you get, I was trying to flip it over, but I think I'll do it this way. You get the same answer of negative 3, and then you got more than one way. There are multiple ways. Oh, yes, there's multiple ways. You like this better? Of course you do. But here's my thing. When you see this on an assessment, are you going to be able to catch it right away? Yeah, it is easier. Okay. It's okay. No, love my country, you're not poor in math. I'm going to have to let you know that. It's just how it was presented to you. It was presented to you in a time that you didn't really feel very supported. And it freaks you out. How many of us freak out when it comes down for us to do our taxes? because we're constantly being told, you could be audited, you're going to be charged all this money. And this puts that fear in you that you're like, I don't want to do it. Who wants to do it? And then accountant's like, I'll do it. And then you like, how much do I charge you? Oh, and then they can ask for any amount. But because of that fear factor of you trying to do your own taxes, you will pay whatever you got to pay because now you feel up against the wall. Okay. All right. Yeah, we all had such a hard time. Yes, including myself. All right, so let's see if we can do one more, and then we're going to be done for today. And then if you like these cards, I actually sell these things. Hence my copyright. Try to steal it. I'll sue you. I'm scared. No. So let's give this one a try. Okay. I know today is like factor zone. Okay. Factoring zone. So we got 1/4 times 3x plus 16 equals -2. Okay, taking your time with it. See what you can get. Okay, GLI had the -8. Michael with the -8. What time do I come back live? I wish I can give you a definite time. I wish. What are you guys having, like a battle going on? Who's going to say it first? Okay. Yeah. Tanya squared with my -8. Tomorrow I might be able to come on a little later because I know since a lot of people had off today, so it kind of makes sense. Okay, Big G Money with -8, Penny with -8. Thanks for the follow, Matt. Appreciate it. Moo Moo, thanks for the follow. Okay. Yeah, I wish I can give you a definite. I'm sorry. Because it's like I do online tutoring as well, and tomorrow is not jam-packed, but Wednesday is. And Thursday. And slowly but surely Friday. But I do have openings on Saturday and Sundays. So Mondays are usually a little easier. So since it was a holiday, everybody's good. All right, Kelly, Betty is saying -8. Queen Daisy, -2. Okay. Is that Narcissus? Is saying -8. Jesus is Lord. Praise be. Saying -8. Calf is saying 2. How do you enroll in your tutoring class? Just message me. Just message me and I'll give you all the details. You can just, even though we may not be friends, but you can request and you can send a message. I always check those. Try to check those daily as best I can. Chloe with the -8. Sammy, how are you with -8? Mags with -8. Okay, you're so welcome. Okay, Vibe, you're saying with the -8. User 90 saying -8. User 61 with the -8. Okay. All right, so let's take a look. Again, there's multiple ways of doing this. Okay, so we got my 3x plus 16. So -24. There we go. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple of them. Okay, Glenn, thank you. Snoopy, I see you with your -8 as well. So we can solve this one of two ways. We can go with the traditional. You got your 1/4 times 3x plus 16 is equal to -2. Okay, I just want to rewrite the problem because some people are like, I can't see because of the glare. So here, we're going to distribute this 1/4. This is one way of doing it. So if I distribute 1/4 times 3, remember every time you see a whole number being multiplied by a fraction, you can put that whole number over 1 to make it into a fraction, okay? But it's just going to simply be 3 over 4x plus, now 1/4 of 16, that's evenly 4, equals -2. So now our goal is to get x by itself. So what we want to do is we want to subtract the 4 on both sides. So a +4 and a -4, they cancel out to give me 0. But then I can bring down my 3/4 x. And 3/4 x is going to be equal to -2 minus 4. That gives me a -6. So if you want, we could, since we got division here, that means we are going to be doing multiplication. If you want to take it step by step, which that's what I'm going to do here, and yes, I know I could probably multiply by its reciprocal, fun, but I like to take things step by step. So let's get it out of this fraction form by multiplying by that denominator. So if I multiply by the denominator, 4 and 4, that gives me 1, but there is a 3 here. So 3 times the 1 that we got by canceling out the 4's will simply give me 3x. So cancel out the 4's, what's left over is the 3 and the x. Equals my -6 times 4, that gives me a -24. So if I want to get x by itself, this is multiplication. Its inverse is going to be division. So we're dividing both sides by 3. So now we have our answer. We have x is equal to a negative divided by a positive is negative. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So we got x is equal to -8. This is one way of doing it. Okay. All right. Britt, you probably did the other way. Let me show you the other way. Let me see if I'll do it this way. Hold on. Doesn't matter. Okay, so here's our original. 1/4 times 3x plus 16 equals -2. Okay, doing the same problem. Now, we have 1/4. In order for me to get rid of this 1/4, and that 1/4 is being multiplied by an expression, what I can do right from here is multiply both sides by 4. Because that means this 4 and this 4 will cancel out, leaving me with 1. And we all know that 1 times anything is itself. So I can bring down my 3x plus 16 is equal to -2 times 4 gives me a -8. So now I simplified it a little bit. So now I have that plus 16. So I want to subtract that 16 on both sides of the equal sign. One moment. Okay. Sorry, I had to do the puzzle piece. So now we have our 3x is equal to -8 and -16. Both signs are negative, so that means I'm keeping the negative and adding the numbers together. So that gives me my 24. Divide both sides by 3 because we want to get x by itself. And we have our answer of x equals -8. That's how you did it? Okay. The way you did it? Okay. Yes. The route you took? There it is. And there's one more. You're like, my God. So that's what it drives me crazy when people say, well, this is how I did it. And your teacher's like, wrong. But I got the same answer and I can prove that it's going to work again. All right. But there's multiple ways of getting the same answer. Now, if they say, I want you to do it this particular way, you got to do it. So remember one time we did this distribution of 1/4. Okay, we got our 3/4 x plus our 4 is equal to -2. And then we subtract 4 on both sides. And I was saying something about multiply the reciprocal. That's what I'm going to show you. So right here, in order for me to get rid of the 3/4, I am going to multiply, but I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal means flip. So now you got 4/3. I'm going to multiply both sides by 4/3. What you notice is that right here, 4 divided by 4 will give me 1. 3 divided by 3, that also gives me 1. So basically, they canceled out, leaving me with 1x, or just x. So now I'm looking over here on the right-hand side. Anytime you multiply a whole number with a fraction, if you want, you could put that whole number over 1 to make it into a fraction, and then just multiply horizontally. So -6 times 4, that gives me a -24. And 1 times 3 gives me 3. So what's -24 over 3? X equals -8. Okay? So you got options. Yeah, I did that already, Blizzard. That was what we did. That was our second option. Boom. Okay, this was our first option with the distribution. Then this was our second option by multiplying both sides by 4. Then we have our third option if we're just multiplying by the reciprocal. Alrighty? Like an Italian? I don't know. Do the GED books update every year? Because I have 2 GED books. Does it update every year? No. This is the first year of putting out these books. Or are you talking about GED books generally? Because I can give you a little hint. It's the same material, different covers. And if they do update anything, like GED hasn't really done any kind of changes, like serious changes in a long time. So like if you buy last year's book, that's perfectly fine. The contents is still exactly the same. I think my GED book is, my GED book is from 2022, 23. And I still use it as a reference. And people have been passing by doing that. Yep. Okay. So the same thing for my ASVAB people. ASVAB, if you're trying to buy ASVAB for Dummies, 1, there's a lot of reading with it. 2, if you just need to pass the math section, you're buying a whole entire book for just maybe 1/8 of the stuff that's in there. So that's what motivated me, if I may. This would be my sales plug, just in case no one knows. That's what motivated me to do. What? What are you talking about? Okay. All of a sudden. Okay, so that's what made me do this algebra at your pace. So it's a workbook with a QR code. So like, say for example, here's a QR code. The concept is supposed to be properties of exponents. And the only thing that I revamped is I just made the QR codes all in one. So instead of you scanning every 2.2 seconds, especially if you're a type of person that likes to binge information, not my suggestion, but I decided just to put all of it as one QR code, and I've done it in the beginning of the book. I think it was somewhere like around the welcome. So you can get all of the instructions for that one particular volume. So what you do is you basically scan the code. It gives you a place for you to write your notes, and it also gives you a place for you to do practice problems, okay? Because I put that inside the videos. The videos are roughly like 20 minutes long. Again, you can fast forward, you can rewind it, you can pause it. Here, I will give you some extra practice problems for you guys to do. Some of them, I'll give you a couple challenge problems with how it was addressed in the GED or the ASVAB. And also tease tests. On the other side, you will get your answer key. All right. With each volume, you're given a chapter test. Okay. So it gives you an extra practice with the chapter test so you can sit yourself down and time yourself. You know, that's what goes against a lot of you guys. You do have an answer key, but there is an opportunity for you to scan to get the step-by-step, me going through not only the answer key for the quiz, but also for those extra practice problems. Okay, so if you want to do that, that's just an upgrade choice for you. Now, at the end, you will also get resources. So all these resource pages that will help you with that volume, okay? So, and then also as a special gift, I give like some of the flashcards. So sometimes I will give you the exponent flashcards, so the rules of exponents, and also some of the practice problems that you can. So you can Xerox it, you can take it out of the book, create your own flashcards, and have fun with it. Now, if you're just like, all right, cool, Audrey, I just want your flashcards. Like, what was those flashcards that you had? Well, some of my flashcards deal with solving, some of them deal with evaluating, and then it comes with our answers. Remember that -8? Remember that -3? Okay? Or even that one with the +10? So you can do a matching game. So then you're just like, oh, okay. Well, how would I solve this? My answer will be this. And you just put it up like that. So you'll have all of those. And the evaluating and the solving, I have all three in order of operations. That's with our simplifying, are all in one book. Okay, that book is thicker than a Snicker. I'm going to tell you that right here and now. So you have that. It's 153 pages. So roughly like around 77, 78 pages. And the way the pages are designed, you will get, let's see if I can get it. You would get 4 cards on one page. Okay, so that means, let's try it. 77 times 4, what would that give you? Real tough. Anybody's got it? Anybody's got it? Over 300. 308. Okay, 308 problems. So you can't say, I need more practice. I swear to goodness. No, you don't. All right, so with all of those, where can you buy it? I do have a link in my bio that will take you through all that. Maybe you just need to look at, remember we were doing these? Maybe you just need some practice with the, with the formulas. Like you can't remember all the formulas for the GED and the ASVAB. So another one will be like, okay, distance and time. Distance, rate, and time. So, you know, your speed is also your rate and time. Maybe it's like PEMDAS. You couldn't remember order of operations. You got order of operations right there. All right. Another thing, which one of these days I'm going to be dealing with more of the geometry, because I haven't done the geometry in a minute. I have a lot of the flashcards with the geometry. Okay, so your angle of regular polygons. A lot of people are starting to do that in their classes now. Okay, the sum of the interior angles of a triangle. Boom. So I have a lot of these flashcards. So the difference of squares, volume of a rectangular prism. Okay, so you can quiz yourself. You need constant exposure in order for you guys to get all these. So I have the highest that I teach. I want to say pre-calculus if I'm in the classroom. If I'm outside the classroom, do I do college algebra? Yes. I still have one more person that's taking it right now. She's taking statistics. All my college algebra people passed this year. So far for this school year, I'm 5 for 5. Yay. But these are a lot of my resources. Let me zoom them in. Okay, so this is the book. A lot of them are on the A. And when I say the A, you know what the A is, the brown box with the smile on the face. All of them, you can get them there. If you want to go to my website, which should be the link of my bio, you can go there and it'll connect you to exactly where you can find these books, okay? There isn't any bundles. Sorry. Soon, one day soon, I'll be able to get my life together and do that. All right, so just in case you're not good with your squares and your cubes, I got flashcards for that. The verbal to algebraic, that is enclosed in my resource. So all of my resources that I use, that means the factor sheets. That means your equation of the line, system of equations, even your sine, cosine, and tangent, SOHCAHTOA, your Pythagorean's theorem, everything that you need that you're taking algebra 1, algebra 2, a little bit of geometry and statistics are all in here. Plus my verbal to algebraic matching cards. If you're like, what does that mean? Well, if I give you something like this and I say twice the sum of a number and 8, okay, what will match up with that? Well, this one, 2n plus 8. I use n for the same variable, so you can't cheat that way. I know how it is. I was a classroom teacher for 22 years. I know. Okay, so if we have your 2n plus your 8, so it's the sum of twice a number, 2n, and 8. Sum means addition, plus 8. So all of those are incorporated into this book. Then we have our formless ones I just showed you. Then the exponents I showed you, that's in volume 1 as well. Then for those that struggle with multiplying and dividing, I got you. You got your flashcards, and a lot of them are integers. The flashcards that you see nowadays for multiplying and dividing are basically for elementary school. Okay, it's just like 20 divided by 4. Okay, we know that, but we suck when it comes to the signs. So notice what I have here on the very front. Okay, same signs, positive. Different signs, negative. Okay, that's a reminder for dividing the integers. Same thing here. Same signs, positive. Different signs, negative. Okay, so that's a thick book too. Both of these are extremely thick. Okay, so I'm still waiting. And again, if you get your formula sheets, I'm not doing one card per page. Okay, there's 4 cards in one page. So if you're getting a 100-page book, even if you say 50 pages, 50 times 4, that's 200 problems. Hello. Okay, can I help with statistics? Can I be your teacher? Yes, Candy, and you know why. I said, algebra, sure. Okay, I went through all the math a few years ago and I forgot most of it. And this is perfect, okay? You're on my YouTube channel now. There you go. All right, so everything is basically there. You can use the YouTube channel. All of my books, I also have a digital copy, but the digital copies go through my website. But you have volume 1, which is the integers, decimals, and exponents. That's the one I'm having. I'm waiting for the other ones to arrive. Then volume 2, this is when you get your order operations, your functions, your factors, ratios. So you're getting your divisibility ones. Then you have your solving equations, solving one-step, two-step, multi-step equations, variables on both sides of the equal sign. Then you have your linear equations. This should be a top seller because this is where slope lives. And this is where a lot of you guys get lost. You need to understand slope. If you're going to take your GED, anything dealing with slope is a 4-point question. Equation on the line, parallel and perpendicular line. All of that is 4-point questions. If you skip those, you are not going to pass the GED. Let's be blunt. So if you need the practice, this is where you go. Anything linear. So with your system of equations and the equalities, that's going to be in volume 5 and 6. So it's dealing with the systems, it's dealing with inequalities, and it's also dealing with absolute values. All right. So again, if you have trouble and you're like not sure which one you want, as you can see how I just come in here and there, this is going to help you. Okay, and you basically can have me as a tutor for a heck of a lot cheaper, and you can play it whenever you want, because that's the problem that a lot of people have. Sometimes they want the tutoring, but I don't have the availability at the time that they want. So whereas you have these books, hence the name, at your pace, you can go and pick which book you want. You don't have to buy them all in the series. It would be helpful if it has been a while since you've seen the math. But if you have and you just know certain areas that you need help with to pass or to raise your scores for the ASVAB, you could just pick whatever book you want, go through the series, and I bet you cold hard cash your score will go up. Okay? All right. Am I going to have one for statistics? Not this year. If anything, it's going to be a little bit later. What's the price for tutoring? I normally do my tutoring for $92, but for my TikTok followers, I do for $77. Okay, so if you're just like, hey, Audrey, I saw you on TikTok, and then you tell me your name, and I can see that you have seen me, then boom, we can do something. All right, and that is for an hour-long session. And then my desk was messy again. All right, cool. So if you need any kind of assistance, if you're just like, hey, Audrey, I just, let me see if I can do it myself. Not a problem, okay? I'd rather you go here, and then go ahead and subscribe, okay? Get as much as you can. Watch all the videos that you want. But there's going to be certain things that you're going to need to upgrade, okay? I'm not just saying this to get money. I want you to succeed. Yes, I would love for things to be free, but I'm going to tell you, mortgage, bills, electricity, all this is not free. That's the only thing, okay? Is that monthly? No, that's per session, okay? All right. So watch the videos, come to the lives. They're going to be very sporadic, but I'm going to try my best to do what I got to do. But if you need some assistance and you got a deadline saying, hey, I really want to pass this GED before Easter, that would work. That would be a legit one. If you're like, yeah, I want to pass the ASVAB like next week and I haven't done any kind of studying, well, dude, I'm not, I know I have highlights. My last name or my middle name is not Jesus or Mary or Lord. I'm not the savior of all. You're going to have to put some work into it, okay? Okay? I know you want to pass it right now. But see, here's my thing. Okay. So, that's for something. Okay? So, if anything, I want you to pass. I want you to pass. I want you to get over this hurdle. So, let's do it. Okay? All right. If you have any kind of questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate. You can send me a message. Send me a message here on TikTok. There's a request message. I will definitely look and give you a message back. And then we could talk about next steps. So I might see you tomorrow. Might be a blessing. I can't guarantee it. But if anything for this evening, have a good evening. Okay? Please be safe. There's too much insanity going on here. Yep. It does help a lot. It does help because I usually like to take things step by step. And I can tell you, if you're trying to do ASVAB, you're definitely going to need, let me tell you this before I go. If you're trying to pass the ASVAB and like get past the 31, try to get into the 50s, you're going to need to know, obviously, your basic math, add, subtract, multiply, divide, integers, fractions, going from a percent to a decimal, decimal to percent, and decimal to fraction. Okay, you definitely need to know that. Your distance, rate, and time, know how to maneuver around that. The increase, what was the one that I had earlier? The percent increase and the percent decrease. What is going on? What are you talking about? Okay, so the percent increase and the percent decrease, you're going to need to know those. Remember, we talked about that earlier. Definitely need to have a couple of these. Now, the other things you're going to need to know is your order of operations. Know how to solve one-step, two-step, multi-step equations. You need to know how to evaluate. So when they give you an X and a Y and for you to plug it in, you're going to need to know evaluations. You're also going to need to know area and perimeter, or area and circumference if you're dealing with circles. You're going to need to know those basic things, plus anything and everything dealing with slope. That's the equation of the line, how to find slope, how to graph an equation of the line, system of equations, system of inequalities, graphing linear inequalities, absolute values. So anything that you can find in an Algebra 1, that will take you up to like roughly the 40s and 50s. But in order to get past the 50s for ASVAB, you need to know volume. You need to know how to factor. You need to know how to, I'm trying to remember what other people have been telling me. You're going to need to know how to find the area of composite figures. And I've done a live on that. I've done a couple lives on that. How to find the volume of composite figures. That's on there. And also for people that are doing a GED, I actually did a couple nights where I did what are 4-point questions. So those videos are also on here. Okay. All right. Yep. Okay. Can I help you pass it? How much work do you put into it, Skydrip? If you're willing to put in work, you just listen to what I say, you're going to pass it. And I don't know what your definition of pass is, because I've helped people that originally came to me with a 2 and they were able to get a 47. That was the lowest that I got for the GED. I mean, sorry, for the ASVAB. The highest I got, or the highest that a person got, by looking at my videos and asking questions and coming every live, and anything I had, they basically bought from me. They scored a 96. Another person scored a 71. Another person scored a 61, and I only worked with them for like 2 weeks. So I don't want you to be like, have to be stuck with me for a whole month. If you just need something to shift from like a 47 to inside the 60s, I can help you. Okay. Yes. Oh, I think you got this. Yep. So it's really going to be up to you. You know, just like, and I know I'm a God-fearing person that's tried as much as I try. But that's the thing, like, God will yoke you in your direction, but it's up to you to put the action. You got to put one foot in front of the other in order for you to get to where you want to go. So I'm more than willing to lead you, but if I feel like I'm doing the walking and you jumping on my back like, yeehaw, I'm going to buck you off and tell you to go somewhere nicely. But for the most part, you know, it's just a matter of what do you want to achieve? What have you done before? Because I'm always going to ask you that. What have you done to prepare for this test? And if you're like, I just done a little bit of free stuff. And I'm like, okay, but how often are you looking at the free stuff? And if you're telling me here or there, oh, because I have to work and all that, I'm like, look, babies, when I did this book, let me tell you, 5 books, 6 volumes, okay? Yeah, why not? I'm going to toot my own horn. Why not? All those books. These books that I was showing you, all 5 of these, okay, there's 6 volumes. I combined 2 into 1. Plus all of these. You know how long it took me to put all this stuff together? 1 month. There was many nights I stayed up all night. From morning to morning. And then I had tutoring. And then I had to, because hell, I'm a divorce. So it's just me and these straight fed once in a while. And I put them all together. And this was mostly the month of December. Maybe like 2 days of November. But I wanted to get it done before the new year. And that's what I had to do to push it. So sometimes we think we're working hard, but we got to push ourselves a little bit harder. Is this what you really want to do? Okay. Math before facts. Okay. Okay, so I'll get you tomorrow and let me see how I did first. Okay, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Because we can see if you're taking your test, just go in and take it. Just take it, be blank. You don't want to sit there and memorize stuff. Don't even stay up. Like, you got 5 more minutes that you can stay up, do a little bit of something, and then just close the book. And then just, if you're going to take the test tomorrow, that's what you're going to do. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much. Sorry about ranting at you. Basically, like throwing a crooked finger at you. Like, you can do this. You will do this. But sometimes I think all of us needs a kick in the ass once in a while. Just to get stuff done. Because no one's not going to do it for us, guys. No one's not going to do it for us. You can definitely do one. You know? Because right now, guys... It's close. It's basically close to the end of January. Like, I remember January 1st. Boom. Today's the 19th, right? What the heck? Struggling to keep pushing and don't get or ask for anything. Yep. Okay. Work 2. When is available? Yep. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we just keep going, keep pushing. And just do the best that we can. Don't let anybody step in your way. Don't let, even family, don't let anybody hold you back. If this is something that you want to do, then do it. We only got one life. What are we saving it for? What are we saving it for? What are we saving all this craziness for? What, we're worried about what other people think? We're so quick to say, oh, I don't care what other people think. But then you're holding back because you're afraid of what other people will think. Stop. Go after what you want. If you want to go into the military, go into the military. Oh, well, they're doing this and doing that. I don't care. You want to go, go. You want to get your GED because you're sick and tired of working all these 4 dead-end jobs and you finally want to work one job and actually feel with benefits instead of you, all right, oh, you cut your finger off? All right, tape it together and put it in hot water. You be all right. like, no, yo, the finger is about to fall off, right? Fix that. You know, we live in this crazy world. Yep. It will soon be February 2nd. I know, Michael, right on the corner. So tutoring doesn't work. Right. Yeah. And I tell my students, like, I'll drop people in a heartbeat if I feel like I'm doing a lot of the work. And I'm not the type of tutor that has a program. Like, my tutoring, I look at what they're currently working at and what's missing, I do a filler. So it doesn't feel overwhelming. But if I have a kid that's just sitting back like, oh, can you just give me the answer? Right away, I'll be like, where's your mom? Where's your dad? Bring them into the room. Okay, this is what I'm not going to do. So I'm going to release you. I wish you luck. Oh, do you have another tutor? No. Why would I want to have this person passed on to my tutoring friends? No. Okay. And I do that because I feel that if I really want to be disrespected, I might as well go back to the classroom. If I'm going to do that, why do that? Why am I saying your thoughts? Because I know your thoughts. I know your thoughts. You can definitely do this, guys. All right? Just me and God. Don't care what they say. I mean, right, exactly. Employers never asked me to show them a GED at any of my jobs, but I need to put it on my application. Yes, Jeannie. Because eventually, and I had one young lady, she was working a pretty decent job near one of the universities, Johns Hopkins, because I'm in Maryland. And one day, HR came up to her and like, oh, well, we're missing something. Do you have your GED or do you have your high school diploma? And she was thinking about pursuing it. And of course, the only course she had to take was the math. And it's always, everybody does everything else and they always hold the math to last, which is fine. And I met her in a GED course and then I left and then she was trying to pass it and she couldn't pass it. She was like, I need you. So we did one-to-one tutoring and then she passed it. She passed it and now her life is completely different. And she said she did everything that she said she was going to do. And that was what made me really proud of her. Because she was like, I'm going to lose the weight. She lost the weight. She's modeling now. She was in Dubai the last week. Hell, I haven't even been to Dubai. I'm helping people with their greatness. And I'm sitting here in a cold, dark room with a light, with a hand. And that's about it. All right. So you have no choice but take math now? That's it. Speaking the truth. Yes, Caribbean Queen. We're going to have to get you situated too. All right. Yes. And it is a good feeling to pass. I had people that wanted to give up, let's say college algebra. This one particular lady in mind. She has her kids living with her, a grandbaby, and she's just like, I'm just trying to get this one class. Like I took this class 3 times and failed it 3 times. And I really want to pass it. And she found me here on a TikTok live. And let me do this before they shut my thing down. So with the whole TikTok live, and we started working with each other, and then all of a sudden, like 2 weeks went by and she didn't sign up for a session. So I called her. See, I'm the type of person, I'll hunt you down if I have to. And she's like, I'm probably not going to pass it. Like, I got to see, and I'm probably going to fail this test. And I was like, dude, your final's next week. Shut up. Let's go. Okay, you want to get this done. You've done the work. You had a B in one test. You got an A in another test. And yeah, a couple of the tests that you probably did without us meeting was probably D's, right? She's like, yeah, you would have failed those last year. And she's like, yeah, you're right. So let's finish it. So I think that's the one thing a lot of us are missing in our lives. That person that's just going to be like, I see your greatness and I want you to achieve it. I want you to get after it. I don't know what's going to happen in this world and politics and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's always something. But my thing is, no one doesn't know what your dreams are because you haven't put it out there. Stop being selfish, holding your dreams to yourself. Go after your dreams, be successful, and make this world better. Screw you, okay? Yeah. You just got to get it done, and you're going to get it done. All right? Okay, so now, got to get ready for my next person. So, that's what it is. It's like when I have a moment and I can come on here, I'll come on here, and I'll do what I need to do. And then, boom, I got another client. So that's why it's hard for me to say, yeah, I'm going to be on at this time, that time, because be truthful, I need money to help pay my bills. Like TikTok likes and gifts are nice, but it does not pay the bills at all. And they know it because they're taking about 52% of it. So it's helping pay their bills, but not mine. So if you need any kind of assistance, please, please, please do not hesitate to send me a message. If you want any of the books and you're confused on which book you should start with, just let me know and I will definitely pass that information on to you. Okay? All right, so have a great night. Again, if you want any of the replay, give me some time to upload this one. But all my stuff from February 2nd is up and raring to go. All righty? Those are afraid of reaching out to get statistics. Yes, because I'm helping people with statistics as well. All right, take care later on. Be safe. Talk to you soon. Bye now.